Yes, yes. All right. We are live. What's up? What's up, everyone? Greetings, greetings, greetings to you all. Happy Saturday. Gosh, last day of the month, last day of November, right?
Moving
So,
into December,
listen, moving into December, moving into the end of 2024.
that part.
And I'm back with my homie, Queen Yenn. We were just together just a few days ago. And we gearing up. We gearing up for 2025, y'all. And with that, we're like, yo, let's just bless the folks with the energy,
That's
with
right.
the love, and just come through on both of our platforms and
That's
just
right.
talk healing, talk wellness, talk spiritual
All
development, talk plant-based living, talk all the things, well-being. And today we're talking chakras. All right,
yes.
today we're talking chakras.
Yes.
Yeah, so y'all, we got something real nice lined up for y'all since December's coming around the corner. And we said, well, what better way than to talk about that by just giving people a little intro of chakras and just kind of talking through a little bit about just the different things that you can do. First of all, what are chakras? And then just giving you like a little flavor, a little taste, and really how you could think about it for well-being.
Absolutely.
Right, Yen?
Yeah, I'm grateful to be on with you right now talking about this subject because I've been, and by the way, y'all, it's Saturday. I'm at Oyun Botanical Gardens. I just want to go ahead and say it. So you may see me going like this because I'm just greeting people who are walking in. Saturday is always busy for us at the garden. We tend to have our market day happening. So that's what's happening right now. But I'm happy to be here because I feel like this is a start to an amazing collaboration between you and I. So
Yeah.
super excited to be here, excited to be on your platform. Excited for the work that we're doing together, not just in 2025, but we have something we're doing at the close of this year, which is nice. I think
Yes.
it,
We're
you know,
gonna talk
it's
about
such,
it.
yeah, such an amazing experience. And so loving to be able to have this conversation about chakras because chakras has the talk about chakras has become a little trendy, I believe. I think I could say
Mhm.
that in all fairness. And it could be very mystical. The idea could be very mystical to some, could be very much so like, is that really real? Does it really matter? Is it something that we should even really be considering? And then for others, it's like they know how important it is. Or you have those in the middle that's like, well, I don't know too much about it, but, I'm open to hear about it.
Yeah.
But I find understanding your energy, which is the topic of chakras, understanding your energy and your body and how this energy flows through your body and how does that impact your world is so helpful to understand that. And so super excited to have this conversation about you. Um, Now, both of us are teachers, so which one of us is leading this?
Hold on a second. See, I was waiting for you to give me a little pause, a little breath, because we gotta officially introduce ourselves. We got new folks jumping in. Let's do that because we cross-pollinating today.
This is
All
true.
right, we cross-pollinating today.
Okay.
So first of all, I'll introduce myself and then I'll let you introduce yourself. We're gonna ebb and flow. We're gonna ebb and flow. But we gotta let the people know whose we is,
This
right? Yeah.
is true. It's true. Like, slow down, yeah. Hold your mule. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. I'm
So
getting
for
it.
those of you who are just joining this channel, my name is Chef B, Dr. Natasha Bruley, also known as Chef B. I'm a lifestyle medicine health coach, raw and plant-based chef. I really work with Black women, professionals, entrepreneurs, nourishing them with plant-based foods and lifestyle medicine tools. That's what I'm all about. So if you are interested in that kind of education, you are in the right place. All right. My company is called Nyansapo Wellness Institute. We offer a wide variety of support for those folks that I just named, these Black women. We do meal prep, weekly plant based meal prep. We do coaching. We do cooking classes. We do cleanses. We do support, community, all the things. So, a lot of education on this platform. So, that's me. And so, I do the plant based foods, I do essential oils, I do lifestyle medicine, because really it's not just about the food, as we've been talking about and really sort of emphasizing, underscoring. It's really the sum total of everything that you're doing for your well-being, right? All right, so that's me.
Okay.
Yenn, who is you?
Who is I? Who am I? What a question. No, I won't go into the deep part of it, but I serve as a minister of metaphysics. And so I am the founder of Oyun Ministries. With Oyun Ministries, the goal is to help individuals truly understand what it means to be a divine being, which also means an energetic being, an attractive being, a powerful being, a child of God, if you will. What does that really mean? I talk a lot about what this thing we call God in a lot of my teachings, but it's to get to the point where we understand what it really means. It's not something separate from us. To me, God is life, is the dynamic of life. God is a reality. It's a nature. That's what God is. God is source. God is the reality of how life works. That is God. You know, the fact that our bodies heals itself at night when we sleep is God. The fact that essential oils can be so impactful in our life is God. The fact that there is literally nothing that our body or our mind or heart can be dealing with that we can't heal from. That is the reality of this thing we call God. So I do serve as a minister of metaphysics, focusing on helping individuals to understand what is God, what does it mean to be a divine being, and how do I walk that amazing privilege out. I'm
Yes.
also the founder of Oyun Botanical Gardens, which is our headquarters. And grateful to have a garden as our headquarters. It's in East Point, Georgia. It has a urban farm connected to it, so there's natural organic food growing. And on the inside, there's all of these wellness services offered, as well as events and a marketplace on the inside. And so you can come and you can, like Chef B often emphasizes, it's a holistic process, this thing called healing and living well is holistic. And so we address the whole body, the spiritual body, the emotional body, the physical body. And so you have services ranging from Reiki to grounding in the garden and meditation, to uh, wellness coaching, life coaching, family counseling, all on the premise of we are all divine beings connecting with each other as divine beings, having the capacity to live out a beautiful life. We just, may need some support sometime in how to do that. A lot of my conversation is about mindset shifting and also expanding our consciousness and understanding about life and who we are and what we are. And a part of that is understanding your body. And so Chef B and I connect in a very synergetic way, because there's no way I can talk about the whole being without having someone who I link with, or a team of folks. Shout out to all of my people that I collaborate with, that addresses all areas of that wellness. And so Chef B coming in with the food, the culinary is amazing. Chef B also coming in with the other wellness services, the lifestyle services, shifting the whole lifestyle is perfect for me. It's like, I'm like, yes, all right, I'm going to help. I'm going to work on this area with you. Well, we're going to talk about the understanding of God and who you are and what you are and all of that. And you're going to be challenged to change your lifestyle. Trust me, once you truly understand who you are, how powerful you are, and how beautiful this body is, and what it really means to have a temple and all of that good stuff, you're going to naturally want to change your lifestyle. And a lot of times that needs support. So we have ministries that are very synergetic. So I'm very grateful
Yeah.
to work alongside you. So Queenie in here from OU
Yes.
Ministries, also
Queen, yes. And we do have some people
also
who are,
place.
we got folks chatting in here saying greetings to us. So thank you so much for those of you who are joining us on YouTube. So yeah, let's jump in. So chakras, because I
Yes.
mean, this is a very big topic. And certainly in this conversation, we're not going to get through all of it. We decided that we wanted to focus on one of the foundational chakras, just kind of start the conversation there. And I'll let you lead that in terms of what a chakra is,
Okay.
since you really do that work. But really, our focus of our conversation is going to be on one of the foundational chakras, which
Yes.
is the root chakra. All
Yeah.
right. And you know, I think when we think about people and just the times that we're in, this is the chakra by far that really gets interrogated the most and gets out of balance the quickest, I would say,
Mhm. Mhm.
because it's centered on security.
Mhm.
It's centered on you feeling safe,
Mhm.
safety. And when we're in spaces where we feel just not sure what's going on, this chakra can get out of balance.
Mhm.
So I want you to just talk to people about like what a chakra is,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then we'll talk a little bit more about the root chakra. We'll kind of talk about the root chakra in different ways and how we know it's imbalanced and how we know that it's out of balance.
So, chakra centers, we know the seven main chakra centers. We call them root, sacral, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra. I say first eye, but most know it's third eye, and crown chakra. However, it's way more than seven chakras in the body. We are full of energy. If you just even know anything about acupuncture or reflexology or any of those things, there are what we call pressure points, but these are also points of energy throughout the body. But we know the seven main, and I look at it like, well, these kind of are your wheels of energy that when impacted, it could really have a profound impact on your life, meaning it could impact your physical body, your emotional body, and energetically or spiritually, it can impact you as well. And so chakras, what is called chakras, have different names, but mostly known in the Western world as chakras, are what are considered to be like energy wheels in and around the body.
Mhm.
So it's from, let's just say, 6 foot down from the bottom of your feet to 6 foot above your head to 6 feet out from your heart, 6 feet out from your arms. All of that is your entire auric field. That's your energy field, like your bubble. Whether you know it or not, you have a bubble, and
You're
it's
in a
full of,
bubble.
you have a bubble. It is full of energy, and the chakra centers and understanding and learning about this energy bubble through the chakras, understanding the chakra system helps you to understand the various layers of energy and how they impact your life and what area of your life and body it impacts. And so, yeah, it's seven of the main ones. And when they are balanced, let's just say balance. Now, there's kind of like an not argument, but like it's a back and forth when it comes to, can chakras be blocked, and can chakras, or is it truly balanced and imbalanced, overstimulated, understimulated?
Mhm.
I don't get into the argument about it. I just say we always should move towards balance in anything.
Yep.
I'm saying these energy centers do have a level of where you want them to be, a frequency where you want them to be. And sometimes it could be underworking, and sometimes it could be overworking. And in my experience, I have worked with other naturopathic practitioners that have absolutely vouched for chakras being all out blocked, like having blockages. Because I've actually worked with the client where she was dealing with some serious heart chakra blockages. And after getting several Reiki sessions with me and several energy clearings with me, she felt it and her doctor reported it, that they had been trying to do an assessment on her and could not get a reading,
Mm.
was finally able to get a reading. So that to me was an example showing me there absolutely could be the case that something can be blocked, all out blocked. And we know symptoms. There are symptoms that can show you those things. So energy centers are basically wheels of energy that flows throughout your body, that when they are balanced, you feel well, you think
Yeah.
well, you experience life well. When they are out of balance, you don't feel well. Your
Yeah.
experiences in life matches that feeling. That's what energy centers are, if I put it short and sweet.
And you know what? Just going back to her blockages, what I'm thinking is emotionally, she was also blocked. And
Huge.
because if you're talking about heart, she was blocked emotionally, and so because she was deeply blocked emotionally,
Yes.
they couldn't do that work to read her and to really do whatever assessment
It's
they
so
needed
real.
to do.
Yes. At
So
the time, she
through
was going
mhm,
through a serious situation where it was a lot of it was a lot of heavy emotions. It was just a huge life transition that was very tough for her to move through, and that was the time that she was dealing with that.
yeah,
Mhm.
so I did some really beautiful chakra work, y'all, a few years ago with a beautiful sister, Yoga Denise. And we did it more so from a yoga perspective. So the good thing about chakras, I love how you can really tap into your chakras by focusing in on one at a time. You can certainly go through and focus on each, but then there's these specific things, tools that you can use as you focus on your chakras to ensure that those chakras are in
Mhm.
fact unblocked,
Mhm.
balanced. All
Mhm.
right. So the fact that she was doing Reiki, that was definitely a tool that she was using to really sort of open her up, right? Open
Mhm.
her up and just kind of really start
Mhm.
feeling different, being different, etc.
Mhm. That's
Right.
exactly it. That's exactly what happened in that moment. With that, with Reiki, for those who may not be familiar, it's a energy work. So it's literally working with people with my own energy and other people's energy and moving the energy. And I don't have to really do much, but just be there as a conductor of energy and
Mhm.
move it around. I mean, I have to stay in a certain state where I'm centered and balanced and grounded, to be as effective as I want to be working with energy. But energy is so powerful that it does what it does. Gemstones, it does what it does. Oils, herbs, it just, they do what they do, like, because it is a power source
Yeah.
you're working with. So we are filled with this power source, and then we're able to utilize things like oils and herbs and gemstones, and then
Yep.
people can use their hands, or sound, music, instruments, all type of different things to assist with opening up that energy. And it's very important. I don't I I tell people all the time, we go to the doctor and maybe we're having something heart issue or some pain in our knees or whatever it may be. And it's hardly ever, the chakras are hardly ever addressed. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we're going to give you this and you can do that and you can do this, but let's talk about doing some of this energy work. If it's your knees and you're having pain, you may want to work on your root chakra. If it's pain in all your joints, the metaphysical significance to that is inflexibility in your life, rigidity, having to work on being more flexible in your life,
Yes.
being less rigid. But you have to have that conversation, because you can take the turmeric or the curcumin and you can get some relief from that joint pain or whatever. But if you don't work on why are you so rigid in life,
Yeah.
why are you so inflexible? Why are you so against change? You have to address that, or else that joint pain and other pain will continue to come back. So, energy work is very powerful, and chakra work, which I think people have a question often, like, what does that work look like? And I will talk. I'm sure we're going to cover some of what that looks like specifically to root today. But as Chef B was just saying, I think the beautiful part about being able to do this work is so many simple ways that you can do that work. It's ways that's lavish and complex that you can do this work, where you can go into a certain area of where is that, Arizona, and visit one of the vortices and drink some of the water there, and it'll really open you up in certain, it's powerful things like that that can help you to open up your energy centers. Even going to certain temples does it. You hear about people who visit certain temples around the world and find miracles or healing. Well, it's because of the bells, the sound that's in there, the old school temples that still have those
Mhm.
bells and chimes and things that ring.
Yeah.
No one even realized they did that. It's a healing. It's not
Yeah.
just you're going and miraculously being healed by the minister or nothing. Not saying that the minister can't administer some Reiki. That's what the minister's doing. But the bells in there and the angle of how they did certain things. If you do any research about the significance of the things in temples, it's very healing. Why? Because we're energy beings. So in order for us to be able to tap into like that God source, our energy has to be at a certain frequency. Our heart has to be at a certain rest space. Our mind has to be at a certain space for us to tap that God energy. In whatever, religion or spiritual system you do, you're not going to be able to tap that God source until your energy gets to that level. And that level is translated to heart chakra frequency, 528 hertz frequency, called the God energy. That's what we want. So, okay, opening up your heart chakra opens you up to God, if you will.
Mm.
Who talks about it like that,
Yes.
how you potentially have a struggle with tapping into God energy because your heart chakra may be blocked or your throat chakra may be blocked. So you're not able to give thanks. You're not able to praise. You're not able to express.
Right.
You're not able to pray. You're not able to affirm because your throat chakra is blocked and your heart chakra is blocked. But yeah, but anyway, I don't know. I feel like I'm going on and on and on and on.
So what I want to say about this is, for those of you who are listening, the importance of having your wellness squad be not just a medical doctor, but the massage therapist, maybe the Reiki practitioner, maybe a
Yes.
chef,
Yes.
maybe a lifestyle medicine coach,
Yes.
maybe a sound healer, maybe, an integrative doctor or herbalist. These are the people who need to be on your team because they're going to give you a different perspective,
Yes.
right? So let's say you get a diagnosis from the doctor. The doctor tells you, man, I'm seeing that your numbers are off.
Mm-hmm.
As you pointed out, man, looks like something's going on with your kidneys, something's going on with your liver. All right. But they're not going to give you root cause. They're just not. They're unable to do that. They're just diagnosing and then they will prescribe something for you.
Chef B, say that again. They're unable to
They're
do.
not able to
They're
diagnose like
not
the
able
root
to do that.
cause. They're not
No,
going to be able to tell you
no,
this is why these things are
right.
happening.
No.
It will require a different type of practitioner who's focusing in on different aspects of the body and well-being that will be able to help you see why it is that you might be dealing with the things that you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we can resolve some of those issues by doing some things. But then on a deeper level, you talked earlier about being rigid if you're having joint pain or body pains, right? I was starting to think, I was like, ooh, I might need to check in
Yeah.
on that because I'm like,
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure that's resonating with others who are listening,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because yes, we can take some of the initial discomfort away, but now we got to go deeper. We got to
Yes.
keep searching so that we can figure out, well, why does this keep coming up?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Mm-hmm.
going on in the family? What's going on in my
That's it.
heart?
That's
What's
it.
going on in my mind? Right? What's going on in my environment?
Mm-hmm.
You got to start asking the questions like that.
Yeah.
So you got to have who, what, where, when, why.
It.
We got to ask questions: environment, mental, spiritual, relationships, internal. What am I eating? What am I thinking?
Thinking.
Right?
Consciousness a huge one, Chef B. Consciousness,
Yeah.
how you're thinking is huge. It impacts everything. It impacts literally everything. What are my thinking patterns that has me so rigid? What pattern of thought could be creating rigidity comes from fear. Can be creating fear that causes me to want to be rigid, which also a synonym for that is controlling. A synonym for that is fearful, insecure. All of those are in the same realm.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? What mindset shift do I need to maybe work on so that I don't get into this mode of insecurity that makes me want to be just
Yeah.
rigid? Oh
Right.
no, we can't do it like that. No, I don't, ain't no change. No, and so we're talking about this conversation of chakras. Believe it or not, if you work on, say, let's just say it's in your root chakra, since that's what we're going to be talking about today. you feel rigid because maybe growing up, your life was real back and forth. Y'all never had a home that was stable. You went to 6 different schools. You didn't have, just a stable life. Whether that's your parents were in the military or your parents were in survival mode. Either way,
Yep.
maybe growing up you said, I'm gonna, like, I need structure, I want, security, I want to do. So you've built this life that feels comfortable for you, but it's a defense mechanism versus an offense. I'm gonna do this so I don't feel like I felt when I was a child. So now you don't know that that's creating levels of rigidity in you where you don't want to change nothing, because if it changes, it's going to start feeling like your childhood. That's
Yeah.
root chakra. And thinking through those things and working through those things and then changing your mind about it helps you to open up the root chakra. So now it can relieve something. And simple as working with a root chakra gemstone, simple as eating root chakra foods,
Yep.
simple as doing root chakra meditations, or wearing the color red, or putting red around your house, simple things like that. You would you wouldn't believe how much it'll have an impact. You'll start thinking differently. It's amazing how energy works. The energy opens up and it shifts the way you think and it shifts the way you feel about life. It's an amazing thing. I've seen people really transform their life by focusing in on their chakras. I mean, what led you, Chef B, to work with that sister? Because I feel like life always brings people to a point with certain things. Like if you never thought of chakras before and then you get to a point where it's like, I need to focus on my chakras. What was that for you?
So for those of you who are just joining, we're talking about chakras for well-being. Welcome into everyone. And I was mentioning that I did a beautiful chakra course. It was actually a 7-week chakra course
Nice.
2 years ago, I think during the pandemic, where each week we would focus in on a chakra. But we focused in on those chakras from a meditation yogic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so while we were interrogating for ourselves the different chakras, really the work that we did weekly was through movement and being intentional about chakra movements that would open up and help to rebalance that
Uh-huh.
particular chakra that we were working on for that week. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, one, it was just a deeper understanding of chakras in my life. So I had finished my health coaching program where we focused in on chakras, but we hadn't talked about it from a yoga perspective, a meditation perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was really powerful and interesting to me. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this so that I can deepen my understanding, because ultimately I know as a health coach, from a well-being perspective, it's all about everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
all about everything. It's everything. Changing everything changes everything. Period. Changing everything changes everything. So you have to consider all aspects of your well-being if you want to see change and feel change. And what I would say in response to what you just said about just working with the gemstone, the mindset has already shifted once you're now considering these as tools.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge jump for many people. Many of us are very much in medication mode, particularly the elders, right? My doctor told me that I need to take this, take that. And so to open your heart up to utilize plant-based foods, gemstones, meditation, essential oils, sound healing, Reiki, you're already different. You're already shifting. You're already saying, you know what? There are other tools that can help in my healing process.
Correct.
There are other tools that can open me up. And now you're less rigid just from doing that. You're less rigid just from that consideration, right?
Agree.
And so I think we all, from a mindset standpoint, we have to think about, consider, what is it that's going on in my life right now?
Mm-hmm.
And what tools can I now bring in to help me to unpack and to address the things that I'm dealing with right now? Okay. So we need to all be asking ourselves that question. Why? Because we all have a very unique historical foundation. And from an ancestral standpoint, we all have a very unique life mission that we're working through that comes with our medicine, the things that we need to heal from.
It's
All
true.
right. Some
It's
people
true.
it's sugar issues, some people it's diabetes, some people it's mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we look from a lineage, a DNA standpoint, this
You
is
see
what's
it.
in the line. This is in the line. So this is the work for you, for your ancestors, so that we can open things up moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this, right? Because we got more people jumping in. Welcome, welcome.
Okay.
Let's talk about root chakra specifically now.
Okay.
So y'all, we've already shared that there's 7. There's more. There's way more than 7, but the 7 that we're referring to, those are some of the ones that are most popular that people actually know about. And when we start talking about root chakra or chakras in general, we usually start with the root chakra,
Correct.
which is located like maybe by the groin area, right? The base of
Correct.
your spine. Am I right about that, Yenn?
Yes, it's pelvic all the way down to the bottom of the feet. Actually, it's like
Okay.
that whole area from pelvic down,
Ah, got
right underneath your navel, all the way down to the bottom of your feet. It's the root chakra, and also, I like to tell people it extends outward too. Just remember that. So
Mm,
when we're thinking about, and I emphasize that because when you're doing visualization meditation, oftentimes you're thinking visualize the energy or that color or the
mhm.
wheel right in that area. But when I say that area, I want you to visualize it all the way around you in that area,
I
not
love that.
just there, because I like to encourage us to continue to see ourselves bigger. It's not just here.
Yeah,
We're here. We're taking up space. If we
yes.
can remember that, that's significant to me to keep you to wrap your mind around. Like you are a bubble of energy. You are a big beam of light. That's what you are.
And I think that with that said, a lot of the depictions of chakras is very misleading. All right.
Yes.
If you look at the actual two-dimensional imagery that we see online or wherever, usually someone is sitting in
Yes.
a seated position, a yoga seated position, and they talk about the root chakra being at the base
Mm-hmm.
and then it works its way up. But really, this depiction of what you're describing is it's a lot more dynamic
Yes.
than what we see.
Yes.
So definitely, visualize that, y'all. Just consider that from your pelvic area all the way down to the root of your feet. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not just sort of this one-dimensional linear thing.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, it's very expansive.
It's expansive, radiating.
Yes.
Woo, 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 woo. That's the that's
Right.
I want you to think that's the vibe. Woo, woo. And if we think like that, then we know, I don't know, for me it's like I am conscious about how I carry myself because I
Mm,
know I'm impacting a room. So I'm not just conscious saying let me make sure I don't project any bad energy, not like that sense. It's like I'm conscious that I am a light, and so any room that I go into, I'd love to go in with an energy that is love, that is compassion, that is whatever it is. I want to go in as light. And so that gives a responsibility that's greater than just you in opening your chakras. Is please open your chakras, sis or bro, because not only does it impact you, but it impacts me. It impacts your children. It impacts your household. It radiates outside of just you. Your root chakra energy radiates to your children, it radiates, and it's not just from your energy, but from how you think in the root chakra perspective, how you think about survival, how you think about those things that are root chakra. Your root chakra energy projects through your thoughts, through your words, and through that center that's from the pelvis down. So think about it in a holistic way, not just there. No, your root chakra energy also radiates through your daily talk to yourself and your
yeah.
mantras that you use. What mantras are you using around survival?
Yes. And actually, if we add to that, some of the mantras for the root chakra is I am, I have, I live. So very present, right? It's very, very, very much about being present.
Mm-hmm.
If your root chakras are in harmony, you are thinking clearly, you have good concentration, you're able to set goals, you're able to prioritize things, complete tasks, you're able to navigate life, right? And with ease, right? This is when your root chakra is in harmony. When that root chakra is not in balance, you lack trust, you have low self-esteem, you overindulge in things like money, like food, like sex. All right? You don't feel like you belong. You're pessimistic. You're restless, you're angry, you're resentful, you're disconnected, right? So these are ways, if you're feeling this way, notice it's tied a lot to emotion, right? So if you're checking in with yourself emotionally daily, and you're sensing, wow, I'm a little bit more in the out of balance space that Chef B's talking about, gosh, then there's some things that we need to do to really bring that root chakra back into balance.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'd like to offer some journaling like questions. All right. We
Mm-hmm.
have this book that we've been using in the course that I'm doing right now, the Fortifying the Chakras course, which thank you so much for your contribution. And when I say up until even this morning, people are talking about that presentation. I know I really want you to know that it was very impactful for a lot of people. I really want you to know that.
Thank
Like they
you.
really enjoyed it. But we're using this document called Journaling Through the Chakras. And those introspection questions are very important because as I taught the class Fortifying the Chakras, one of the emphasis is for us to look at the chakras, look at opening the chakras or unblocking the chakras as a process of soul development. You're developing your soul. Pardon me. And the soul, I describe it like it's the sum total of all of the way you think, your attitudes, your perceptions become this soul energy. How you think, what you're thinking about. So it's very consciousness heavy, like what's in your consciousness. And so to do journaling prompts to open up the chakras, it's acknowledging the fact that each chakra has a lot to do with your consciousness. Your consciousness has an energy body,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes your soul energy. So where you're at vibrationally in your chakras also projects your soul energy. If your chakras are blocked, then most likely you will be projecting in a way where it's essential for you to do some heart and soul cleansing. And it shows because it's going to reflect in your energy center. So the way you're thinking impacts your chakra centers.
Yeah.
And so journaling prompts for the chakras is very powerful. So some of the ones in the book that they offer for the root chakra, um, it says, how do you feel about your place on this earth? Do you think you were put here for a purpose? Do you feel that you belong? Do or do you wonder if there is any meaning to our lives? Do you search for a sense of belonging that constantly seems to evade you? Do you always feel like uh, left out, not acknowledged, not seen, unseen? All of these are feelings that are indicating you have a blockages there in that root chakra. Is how you feel now about these questions the same as when you were younger?
Mm-hmm.
So it says, do you search for a sense of belonging that constantly seems to evade you? And is how you feel now about these questions the same as when you were younger? Or is it different?
Right.
What events do you think have shaped your sense of belonging and purpose? Thinking about those things. What makes
Yeah.
me feel, what is belonging? What does that feel like to me? And what is belonging? And do I feel that's important? Do I asking those questions really has a lot to do with your root chakra energy.
Yeah. I
Who
love
knew,
that.
thinking about it
Yeah.
has
I
a lot
love
to do with whether the root chakra is open or not.
I love that. I'm going to give you one. A journal prompt that we have here. Um, what limiting beliefs or fears hold me back from living as my most authentic self?
Mm.
So that would be a journal prompt for the root chakra. There are quite a few. I have
Quite a few.
a bunch.
Quite a few. And you can just go on your brow. Thank God for internet these days. You can really just type in
Yeah.
root chakra journaling prompts. And if you put the keyword a little bit more precise, you can say, mindset shifting using the root chakra or something like that.
Yeah.
You can get maybe some deeper questions, but definitely, you can find a lot of great things online these days when it comes to the prompts, the visualization exercises online. I'm really speaking that we'll get more melanated voices in the area of meditation, that's present. But there are a lot of great visualization and meditations. I say that because some of those voices, honey, I can't do.
Oh, look, I know.
It's like I don't know if I can do it.
Now, let me say this to y'all. So, as you think about, so here's the thing, we talked about mindset as sort of one of the key pieces to any kind of change. Mindset. We have to shift our mindset. And so, by just even asking these questions that I'm proposing or Yenn's proposing in a journal prompt, which will get you thinking about how you feel about your place in the world, is a shift. It's a mindset shift. All right. And also, by stating affirmations while you do things, this will also help you to balance your root chakra.
Huge.
And you know what it
Affirmations
is?
are huge.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking about an affirmation. Tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever looked at what's the name of that show? Oh gosh, with the young lady from California, awkward. What was it? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now. But she would stand in the mirror and she would just kind of psych herself up. What am I thinking about? Senegalese girl from Cali, Issa Rae. What?
Oh,
Have you ever seen her
it's
show?
called something like
Insecure.
here, I think it's
Insecure. So she would stand in the mirror and really hype herself up.
Yes.
She was saying affirmations.
That was a big part of her character. That
was a huge part
yes.
of her character. Just like, you got this, you good, right? You the bomb.
Right.
and honestly, y'all, like we got to do that for ourselves. Like we have to psych ourselves or hype ourselves up. And sometimes psych ourselves up when we don't all the way believe it. We got to fake it, as they say, till you actually believe it.
Yes. Yes. Well, let me offer this. There's a song that Beautiful Chorus sings, I Am Everything. And then there's another one called I Am. I think it's a great song.
Yes.
If there's some mantra music to listen to that'll help stimulate that root chakra. And then there's another one I want to say is something about like I am rooted, but nonetheless, it goes, I am everything I want to be. I am everything I need. That's a challenge to like, okay, I am everything I want to be. Just sitting there thinking of that. Like, what does that mean? Right. I am everything I want to be. Then it's another one. She does the I Am song. She said, what I seek, I am. What I want to know, I understand.
Right.
What I could, I can. It's like it's saying it's an idea that anything you're feeling like your desire to be, you already are that. You're just now in the process of calibrating with it. And so when you know the power of the word, when you understand that the word is your wand, the word is your bond, the word, these things that we hear over time, those words, whether you believe them or not, have a frequency.
Right.
Your cells are listening to those words. Like whether you believe it or not, you're saying it. That's why you can be idly singing a song or idly doing something. And it becomes in your life, like, why am I experiencing this? Well,
Right.
because you have some words rolling around that has energy, that has frequency, that's creating itself. So I always say that about affirmations, like it's not really solely about you believing it. I do want you to get to a place where you believe it, because that's going to also get you to a place where you know it, because you're going to experience it once you start believing it. Because whatever, as a man thinketh, so is he. Um, but if you just start stating it, but
Yeah.
as you stated though, meditate. That affirmation meditation, I think, should go together. If
Mm-hmm.
you're saying I am abundant and you don't believe it, meditate on what abundant is. If I am safe and you don't believe it, look up the word safe. Look up synonyms for it. Find a word that's close to safe that you do feel, so you can have a starting point. And now you can build up to the other words. Like, oh, well, safe means this and this. Okay. So that's a meditation. You're now meditating on it. And so the affirmation, you will start becoming one with it. You will start to realize you actually are safe. You are safe no matter what the world presents to you, no matter what has gone on, whatever it may be. You literally, because you're here, you have the capacity to live safely. You
Yeah.
have that without anything outside of you. You have that. You can think it, you can contemplate on, am I putting myself in places where I'm not? Do I need to say about whatever? However it needs to happen, but it starts inside of you. It's not something like a house will provide you or a car.
Right.
These things that does not really provide you with the safety that's going to make you feel grounded and secure, and make that root chakra vibe on a frequency that has you rooted in you, your authentic self. I love that journaling prompt. I think you said something about what makes you not live. Is there something that's making you not live in your authentic self? You said, I think you used
So
the word.
it says, what limiting beliefs
Yes.
or fears hold me
Yes.
back from living as my most authentic?
As my most authentic self.
Yeah.
And living as your most authentic self is essential.
Yep.
No pun intended, essentially.
Yep.
But it is essential, because when you don't live as your authentic self, you feel insecure, you
Mhm.
feel unseen, you feel underappreciated, you feel sad, you can have people around you and you feel lonely. You feel, because you're not living as you. You're not speaking your truth. You're not doing the things that you like to do. You're not experiencing joy because you're not living as your authentic self. You got first ask yourself that. That's very much so root chakra work. Well, what is my authentic self?
Yep.
Maybe you are an introvert, but your family keep trying to make you be. If that's your authentic self, be okay with that. Don't be trying to project yourself out. And, well, my mama used to get on me about being so quiet. If that's you, live as you. Live freely in your quietness, and be okay
And
with
be
it.
okay with it. That's
Yeah, be okay.
really
That's the big thing. It's really being okay with who you really are and where you are right here in the now. That's living authentically. And it's not some people may think, okay, well, you're saying this is just me. You got to accept me as me. Okay, so we're going off the premise of you're being your authentic self or living your authentic self. And a part of that is you doing your own self-work and cultivating it and showing up as your best self. That's a part of that, because your authentic self is your best self. Your authentic self is not going to show up in these ways that could be the culprit sometimes in different situations. But sometimes, guess what? Your authentic self is a problem for others. But guess what? That's okay. That is okay.
well.
Sometimes your authentic self is not even good enough for your mama, for your spouse, for whoever, your job, your boss, your whatever. That's okay. Can you still live it? Because if you do, what will start to happen is you'll attract those spouses, those friends, those jobs, those different things that are you. And your life will start transitioning to be exactly what you wanted to be, instead of you trying to live in ways that's not you, trying to find some level of security, trying to latch on to something, trying to ground yourself in things that's not you. It's just not you. So you'll never feel grounded. And when your root chakra is off, your sacral chakra is off.
Yeah, which is
Your
the next
solar
one up.
plexus is off.
Yeah,
It just
everything
keeps
else. just starts getting
It
off.
just keep on, getting off, because you're not grounded. Because you're not grounded. Yeah.
So two points. Well, a few points. One, I thought about when you're doing those mantras or those affirmations, it's just like a song that you really love. Sometimes when we listen to the song, we're just kind of mindlessly listening to the song and following along. But I even remember, like, one of my favorite artists is Bilal, and he has this song called Reminisce. And I literally listened and recited the words, and it meant something completely different, even though I knew the words from when I first heard it.
That's right.
And so if I'm chanting, I am, I live, I'm abundant, I'm safe, and you say mindlessly, that's one thing, right? But when you really start embodying it,
Mm.
I'm abundant.
Mm-hmm.
And looking for examples of
That's
how
right.
you are actually abundant.
That's a big part.
I'm
That's a
saying,
big
wait a
part.
minute. I'm tripping over here, but nothing ain't really happened to me. I'm good.
I'm
I'm
protected.
safe. And really looking for the examples in
Yes.
your life where those things are actually truths. We need that.
Because they're there. They're there. You just have to look. If you're calling it out, it's there. It's there. You just have to look for it. It may not be there in a way that you want it to be. Like, it may not, I want to be safe and it looks like this. However, it's there. And the reason why that's so important, Chef B, what you just said, look for it how it's already there. Because once you see it, you can now tune to it. You can say, oh,
Yes.
where it is. And now you can say, well, I do feel. Now you can imagine the feeling of safety, the look of safety. When you start to be able to do that, you now tune into the frequency of safety.
Yes.
Safety is a frequency. Abundance is a frequency. All of it is. Have you ever heard this? Everything is energy.
Yes.
It's the same thing when people say all is God.
Yes.
It's interchangeable. Everything is energy. So when you tune to the frequency of safety, you attract those things that are tuned to the frequency of safety. When you tune to the frequency of abundance, you attract those things that are tuned to the frequency of abundance. For me, when I was really working on being an entrepreneur is something, right? And I really realized on my entrepreneurship journey, early off in my entrepreneurship journey, I needed to really work on my idea of currency and abundance. I had to work on it because what I'm not going to do is build this business and be stressed out. I could just go use these degrees, get a check. Now, but I knew I didn't want to do that because that stressed me out because I just couldn't, So I'm like, I'd rather just put my energy in. But I'm going to have to change my mindset because this money thing is stressing me out. I knew I had to shift my idea about it. So I started, and I'm understanding energy. I understand how energy works, the law of attraction, your word is your one. I'm understanding all of that. And so I'm like, okay, let me dig into this mindset of mine and see what I truly feel about money, that formation of currency. Because one thing, currency is not just money. Currency, it's a current. And it's something that's flowing. And so money is one of those things, really the lowest level, honestly, because it's matter, it's a piece of paper. That's the lowest level of currency. The highest frequency of currency is the feeling of freedom, it's the feeling of liberty, it's the feeling of peace, it's the feeling of security. That's the highest frequency of currency and abundance. So when you feel that, you're going to start attracting things like the money and the resources and the network and the miracles and the this and the that. So anyway, so I'm thinking about money. I'm like, okay, I got to get into the feeling of abundance. And the example that always comes to mind for me is the apple seed. You take a little bitty apple. I don't know if y'all ever seen an apple seed. Next time you eat an apple, I want you to look at the apple seed. Do you know? I mean, it's really true. This is really true that this seed turns into a tree. It's true. It's true. I've seen it happen.
You got
It turns
examples.
into a tree. And guess what? That one seed that turns into this tree produces hundreds, if not, who know, maybe much more than
Many,
hundreds.
many more than hundreds.
Much more than hundreds of apples that each has eight
Yes.
to 10, something like that, seeds. Just imagine. So I did the math one day. Drew a seed, and I said, okay, here's a tree, and I put under that number 800 apples times 8 seeds, and this is seed, so that's many trees, and this someone
That's a
that is
permutation,
abundance.
lady. That's a math. That's a permutation. You had some like cajillion, trillion possibilities of how many
How many?
you could
That's
have.
so now when I think about what being abundance is, if I am saying that I am that seed that which I'm relating to abundance. I am that, meaning I produce the tree that produces the fruit that produces more seed. So I'm gonna focus on what is this the I that I
Yeah.
am. What is that? It's it's the seed of love. It's the seed of this. It's the seed. I'm gonna want it to be the seed of things that I would like to see blossom into these fruit. And the extension of me now is what is tremendously abundant, because now I become this ripple effect of abundance. We are that way. Your words has such a huge capacity, then that is absolutely an example of what abundance is, because your one word, you can say hello to someone, you can say hey to someone in the grocery store with your energy radiating as you are, and not even know that that person's encounter with you, just saying hello, looking at you, experiencing you, whatever it may stick with them for a lifetime.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Your presence is abundance. So when we say things like, I am abundance, and you really think about that and meditate on that, and really, then you're able to really see, oh, wow, well, this thing that I'm thinking about abundance, money brought me to the idea, but it's way bigger than that. And it's a frequency. And so if I can tune to that frequency, meaning like a plug in, like a wall, zoop, I
Yeah.
point to that, everything that's a match to that. So that could be money, that could be easy application, like people are saying yes, that could be more yeses coming into your life, that could be ease on the job, that could be, it could come in so many different ways versus money, once you really understand what is abundance and how are you a reflection of that abundance. It's big.
So let me say this in response to that. I think it's all about being intentional. So I want to offer to those of you who are listening some movements that you can do while you're thinking about abundance, while
Uh-huh.
you're really working to channel that frequency, get into that frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So some root chakra poses are child's pose. So if you're not familiar with that, is just imagine if you're sitting on your knees and you just laid over onto the ground.
We
And
love a
the
child
yoga,
pose.
the child's
Woo.
pose is a root chakra pose.
Beautiful.
Okay. Another pose that is a root chakra pose is mountain pose. And mountain pose is literally just standing strong, firm, your feet grounded.
Mm.
You're saying these things. I am, I'm abundant, I'm safe, I live, etc. Another pose that is a root chakra pose is called easy pose. So you're literally sitting with your legs crossed and your hand is on your tummy, and then the other hand, one hand is on the tummy and the other hand is on the heart, and you're stating those you're stating those affirmations.
Uh-huh.
And the last one would be warrior pose. So just imagine if your legs are out, triangular position, but then you actually you bend them, and your arms, one arm is to the back, the other arm is to the front. This is considered to be a version of a warrior pose that is good for the root chakra.
Nice.
And so as you're moving in these ways, coupled with the affirmations that we're talking about, coupled with visualization, and
Mhm.
you know that you're close to your visualization being actualized in that you start feeling it.
Yes.
Start feeling the tingles. You start feeling your heart flutter a little bit. You're like, oh my gosh, because you've tapped into a place where
Mhm.
you were safe. You
Yes.
tapped into a place where you were abundant. You tapped into a place where you felt better than where you feel now.
That's right.
And the goal is to get back there.
That's right.
And you do that every single day.
Every day.
Look, that don't take long. 30
It
minutes.
don't. It
30
don't.
minutes. It don't even
Yeah.
got to be 30 minutes.
It
15 minutes,
doesn't.
30 minutes.
15.
Whatever.
15.
That's what you do.
15 to get you there. Yeah. Yeah. I love and the fact that you're moving the body, you're working with energy, you're moving the body, which means also you're moving with the breath. Because if you've ever practiced yoga, one of the things that's important is you be conscious of your breath as you're doing those movements. So
Breathing.
you're taking those deep breaths as you're in a child pose into that root chakra, opening up that root chakra, speaking to the cells in your body, saying, I am that I am. I am abundant. I am successful. I am easygoing. I am at peace. I am whatever it is you're plugging into that. You're in that child's pose. You're breathing. The energy center is flowing. You're even in a prostrated position, which is wonderful as well. And so now you are doing everything that's necessary to plug into the frequency. So now this takes so much efforting away because now you're plugged in. So now you attract. You're not always running after something, chasing after something. No,
It's
you're
come to you.
plugging into it. So it comes. Now
Yeah.
you plugged in, you go out the house, you're rooted, you're firm. And a great visualization for the root chakra is the tree. Imagine yourself as the tree. When I was working on the root chakra, I literally studied just facts about the tree. And one of the things that was dynamic to me, maybe I knew it, maybe I didn't, but it just stood out at the time that I was researching it, was that just as far as the root goes down, it goes out and wide. Now
Mhm.
I'm definitely seeing that now that I'm in the garden. I'm having to move around and plant around trees because I'm thinking, I'm like, what is this? Oh, it's the root to that tree over there. It's like, why can't I plant this or this hydrangea here? No, ma'am, it's a big root that's to that tree that's 12 feet away from here.
Man.
But if you imagine yourself, your roots, let me talk about roots briefly. What are your roots? That has to be a question. What are you rooted in? Are you rooted in pessimism?
Mhm.
Um, are you rooted in fear? Are your roots vibrating with the frequency of insecurity?
Mhm.
Or are you rooted in faith, optimism? Um, are you rooted in security? Are you rooted in strength? You know,
Possibility too, I would say.
possibility, potentiality, whatever it is. What are you rooted in? Asking yourself those things as you are visualizing yourself as a tree and those roots are going down. What are those roots that's going down into your foundation? I'm founded, grounded, rooted in this. I am rooted in belief in life for myself. My belief is that life is abundant and I'm rooted in that. Being a that's really working with that root chakra energy. So visualizing yourself as this big, strong, rooted tree with those aspects of you, which prayerfully you cultivate so you are living out those beautiful divine aspects and not the aspects that come when you're living in ego and super earthbound, which oftentimes become that fear, that feeling of lack, shame, guilt, resentment, bitterness, all of those different things. We want to uproot those. We
Yeah.
want to and you can visualize that. If you deal with
Actually
bitterness,
uprooting it, right?
you
And
can visualize literally uproot. I am uprooting this. You can visualize yourself cleaning up the soil. You can visualize yourself planting new seeds, and you can visualize that new tree growing. That's a great visualization
I love
for
that.
like a full moon meditation. That's wonderful on the full
Love
moon. I'm seeing myself going and pulling up those roots to this procrastination, this, that, whatever it is that you feel like you want to uproot, and then go in your garden and plant your new seeds,
Yeah.
seeds of faith, seeds of consistency, seeds of whatever you want to plant, and visualize it blossoming.
Love
And you
that.
don't have to do a whole lot of work because you now plugged into the energy. So now you look up, wow, I'm way more consistent.
Mhm.
Wow, I'm not as fearful anymore. Wow, that idea of taking that leap does not terrify me. I'm still a little nervous, but I'm not terrified. I'm actually a little optimistic about taking that leap of faith. So you will start seeing that happening for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely something, y'all, we got to practice this, right? And I'll tell you, even, I'm challenging all of you who are on here, if there is one of these mantras, affirmations that you enjoy, just start saying it. Commit to just setting a little notification on your phone, I'm abundant, and just say it 7 times, a
Yeah.
couple times a day, and then just increase as you feel fit, right?
Yeah.
Because it's literally just practice and remembering that you have all that you need to create everything that you need to create, and
That's
that you
it.
have to plug in. Like, that's the piece. That's
That's
the
it.
I'm going to so we talked a lot about what the root chakra is. We talked about movements for the root chakra. Let's talk a little bit about the plant-based foods. And
Yes.
what I would say about this, y'all, I know that traditionally when you hear people talk about chakras, they're usually talking about the colors, like the foods that are in alignment with the color of that particular chakra. Here's what I mean. So, for example, root chakra is red. It's usually associated with the color red. So you should just eat red foods. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Really, the root chakra is all about root. It's all about you feeling grounded. And so, with that, we want to eat foods that come directly from the earth. Now, we know food comes from the earth, but literally how it's grown, we have to dig it up and pull it out. And the color of that food might not be red.
That's right.
All right. So, things like, for example, carrots,
Mm-hmm.
that's orange, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
a root
But it's
chakra.
the root. That's
It's a
it.
root chakra
Turn up.
food.
You
We
know.
got turnips, we got the sweet potatoes, we got
Yes.
the and I got a few here. I just like, what?
Beets.
Beets, right? So we got the
Yes.
carrots,
Root.
the roots.
Root.
We got onions, right?
Burdock root.
Burdock root. We got
Yes.
garlic,
Garlic.
ginger.
Ginger. Yes.
All of those
Turmeric.
are root
Yes.
chakra foods, but
Yes.
they're not necessarily red. So
Good
I don't
point.
want you to always associate a root chakra or a chakra food as the
With the
actual.
color.
It's
Good
really
point.
about what that
Excellent
thing is, what that thing is helping you to bring out. What is it helping you to work on?
point.
All right. And so I would add that the other piece I would add that I wanted to bring up before is when we're talking about being rooted. As you do this work, it would be super helpful if you're rooted, if you're outside doing
Yes.
work, plugging in to the earth, grounding. That is a huge opportunity for you to get in alignment with that frequency.
That's it. And if you are in a place where, well, I'm going to challenge you. If you are in a place that you feel that you cannot go outside and ground, let's just say that. If you're in a climate or something or the place and you feel like you can't ground, I am going to challenge you to still find a way to do it. Okay? But if you really like, you don't know, Queen, by November we're in 10 feet of snow. We're in wherever you are in this world, right? Beautiful thing is there's now technology. We're in 2024. There's
Yeah.
now technology and equipment and different things that can help you stay grounded. Because one of the key words for root chakra is grounded. And we're not just, and yes, the ground grounds you, but remember, we're talking about energy. The reason why the ground, putting your feet on the ground, grounds you is because the ground is a frequency and also have various chemical reactions to your body, but it's a frequency. If you look up the frequency of nature, you'll probably see things like a 528 hertz frequency of something like that. But it's someone, one of them is in the 600s. But when you tune into that, you're literally like plugging into the frequency of this idea of grounding, this grounded energy. You're literally tapping into that. There's now grounding mats that you can purchase. You can purchase a grounding, and I'm not saying make this your only grounding practice, but it is the case
Yeah.
where you can utilize. You can have it at your desk, you can have it on your bed. They have grounding sheets, fitted sheets, where you can put it on your bed and you can plug it into the ground socket on the wall, and it'll pull up literally the energy of the ground into this energy conducting mat that is safe for you to spend long periods of time on. And so I think maybe, well, grounding, I want to talk a little bit about briefly about this notion of grounding, because to fully understand what that really means is important too. What does it mean to be grounded? Well, it means you have the capacity to feel at rest, at ease. You feel like you're in place. Like, just imagine a tree that doesn't have roots. It can be, the wind can blow it down. It is going to die. The branches are not going to get the fuel it needs. So the branches are going to die. The leaves are going to die. And so feeling like that for us, imagining what that feels like for us, guess what? It doesn't happen from you having all the things. It doesn't happen from that way.
Right.
It's an inner job. Because if you go, what we find people a lot of times, they're seeking the grounding. You're seeking the feeling, I just want to be more together, and you never find it, because the secret is
It's
it
here.
starts with here. You gotta feel it first, and then it
Gotta
comes. I
feel
know
it.
it sounds wild, like how you want me to feel grounded in this place in life where I'm not grounded yet, and I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't. I'm just telling you, we gotta go off a law. It's a law.
Yeah.
You have to feel it in order to attract it. You
And
have to.
faith. And faith. And faith.
Yes.
So I feel like even if you feel like even okay, let me say this. So, we talking about entrepreneurship. I and Yenn used to be in the academic world. And then we ventured off into this world of entrepreneurship. For
Yeah.
me, how that shows up is when I was teaching for many, many years as an educator, we only had one paycheck,
That's it.
right?
Me too.
But guess what? I knew that I had that paycheck
Yes, you
coming.
did.
When I started thinking now my entrepreneurship, they ain't pay me no money. That ain't nothing.
Right,
They
right.
ain't pay me no money. But
Nothing.
I knew I could rely on, I
Yes.
could count on
Yes.
that check
Once a month.
every month.
Yep.
So
Yep.
now with this entrepreneurship, there's this level of unpredictability, right? Because now every month is a new month. Every month is ground zero. Every month is zero. I got to start over, right? And so with that, it's like, yo, I have to have a level of faith
Must.
that I am going to get what I need to get,
Absolutely.
and that I'm going to do what I need to do, and that I'm in frequency
Yeah.
where I am attracting the
That's it.
things, the people, the opportunities that I need to in order to be good this month.
Thrive. To not just survive, but thrive.
Right. And then some, not just this
Right.
month, like you're
Not
saying,
just
but this
survive.
month and the next month and the next month and the next month.
Yeah.
So it's a walk of faith.
Yes.
And it's a walk of intention and alignment that the work that I'm doing now and that I've done in the past is really setting me up for tomorrow.
Yeah. Because it's all in alignment. It's everything has been purposeful. Everything that had, whatever vision you have to live out, first of all, the Almighty gives you a vision, right? It shows up in your astrological charts. If I do a natal chart unpacking session with you, it'll show up in your North Node most likely. It'll show up in your Chiron. It'll show up in your Mars planet or something. It's going to show up. You are naturally this person who has this gift, this, and that, and it's been that. And so that came with all that's needed, like the caterpillar in the chrysalis stage. Literally everything that's needed for you to live out who you are, what you love, what passion God has placed in your heart. It's everything has been placed here for you. The main thing for you to do, here's a mindset shift. Instead of looking at it like, I don't know how. This is song. I don't know how, but I know he's gonna do it. That's hilarious. Anyway, so I'll just laugh at myself singing because I'm so
Yeah.
Southern Baptist. But it's not that, it's actually changing your mindset to I don't know how, because I do know how. I do know how, because I literally live constantly in
Yeah.
dormant potentiality. I'm
Right.
always in, like
Yeah.
she said, we're at ground zero. I look at ground zero as just dormant potentiality.
Yeah.
It's dormant until I activate. Now, when I activate it through my meditation, through my prayers, through the inspirations I get, the ideas I get, the work that I do, the things that I'm putting in, the cultivation that I'm doing to my business, the this, the that, I'm activating dormant potentiality, and that potential is limitless. The only thing that limits it is your
With
mind,
the
how
mind.
you think about it. How you think about it. If you set a number, you may hit that number, but then you're gonna realize, man, I could go bigger than it. Yeah,
Exactly. That's
bigger.
right.
Don't put a limit on it. Say, I'm gonna have one of the best months of my life. And whether that's money, whether that's networking, whether that's something happen, whatever, I'm gonna, don't put no limits on it. So it's really mindset shifts that help you to get to that grounded point that I was saying. Like, we have to really understand what we're talking about here when we talk about grounded. Faith is a huge part.
Yep.
How you think about the unknown.
Yeah.
How you think about the unknown. Are you afraid of the unknown? Do you feel like you got to know everything in order to be grounded? Well, you got to work on that, because
Yeah.
you will not achieve the groundedness, because it will never be the case that you know everything, because change is the only constant thing in this world. So then now you say, okay, well, if I can't, now, well, what do I trust in then? Because I'm so used to trusting in me knowing everything. I know A to Z. I know how that's gonna happen. I need to wrap my mind around it. I got my mind wrapped around. Okay, now you don't. So now what? What do you trust in? And that's when you tap into that. Okay, well, what is life? Well, how does life really work? And now you're starting to get to those inquiry
Mhm.
questions needed so that you can be truly grounded, not grounded in material things. Sometimes we can think that will make me say, if I had $1 million, if I had the 5-bedroom house, if I had,
Nope.
we know people will have those things and not be grounded. They're still chasing, still feel like it's not enough, still feel like we've seen it. We know the stories. We can go on and on with the stories, right? But we hear the stories also of those who feel grounded, even if they just have, it's an NDRE song. I think the little things, it's the little
It's the
things. It's
little
part of
thing.
the song.
Yes.
Like, I traveled the world and I realized how much joy is right here, and they are just, they have the bare minimum. And here I am, I'm this musical, star. And I experience times of being grateful. I'm not grateful. I feel like I'm not satisfied. I started to realize now it's the little things. Yes, okay, yes. Now you value the little things. We are abundant because look how many species of butterflies we have. Like, how are we not abundant? Look how many species of butterflies we have.
Yes.
Look how many species of fish we have. Like, like, we are clearly abundant.
I think even if you look in your home, the fact that you have more than one thing. I have more than one pair of socks,
Come on.
more than one outfit. I got two
Yes.
nice little outfits that I can interchange. It's really just reorienting yourself into
Yes.
thinking instead of lack. It's like, no, I have way more than I actually
Clearly.
need. And even with what I was saying earlier about the work, I remember when that terrified me. Yeah, like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, as an entrepreneur, I actually have to go and work
Find it.
and
Get
find
it.
it
Yeah.
every month, every day. That terrified me when I was thinking W-2 employee, that
Uh-huh.
mindset. But then when you again, you're sowing the seeds, you're doing all the things that are in alignment, it started looking very different. I was like,
Yeah.
this is opportunity. This is exciting.
Mhm.
This is
Mhm.
an opportunity to grow and to be way more, have more of a capacity to grow and to change and to affect and to influence more than I ever could if I was alone,
Ever.
right?
because it's infinite potential, infinite. Like it's like you have a plan, you have an idea. Say your palette reset. I'm sure when you first had the spark of idea, you have ideas in the mind. How am I going to do it? How am I, this type of this, but you can't fathom where it will really take you. Where, like, you can have an idea, but the potential of it,
Yeah.
it's
You don't even know.
limitless.
You don't even know.
We don't know. We don't know where it'll go. You don't know. But the key thing is to be grateful for that idea, be grateful for the opportunity, be grateful for the space to create, be grateful, sit in gratitude, work in gratitude. Notice that all of it is a privilege, because when you're vibing on the frequency of gratitude, which is one of the highest frequencies, then everything attracts to you. So when you're as an entrepreneur, I really tell people, boy, to be a successful entrepreneur, you definitely have to work on your chakras. You definitely have to work on your mindset. You definitely have to work on healing the heart, all type of stuff. You have to work on that to be a successful entrepreneur. Meaning, what I gauge as successful entrepreneurs, you're getting paid to be you. Period. That's what I believe as a successful entrepreneur. You are getting paid to be your authentic self, meaning you are getting the currency, you are getting the resources. People are seeing the value in you, and they are showing that value through sharing currency with you. Exactly. That's a successful entrepreneur.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. That's what we're striving for in this work that we're doing.
What else are we doing? It's not a number in the bank, because we know that come and go. I mean, if you're a property owner, you know that, because you could build up a fund over 6 months and need a repair to you to your building, that wipe it right on out. Or you see a course that you want to take or something, and it dwindles the money on down. So it's not a number in the bank. It's a state of being that you're reaching towards, that brings you to a level of success, for sure. For sure. I want to make sure though, because these type of topics I get excited about. I could talk for hours and hours, but my people, them I know who are tuned in, they love to hear you talk about these essential oils, baby. When I say, did she send the, I want the list, and I'm like,
I sent that list.
Don't be having them fucking at me. I know. Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
I sent that list. Come on now.
She absolutely did. So if you're tuned in and you're part of that Fortifying the Chakras class, her list is connected to the lesson. Remember that everything that we do in the different lessons is connected to it as a PDF or a resource to the actual lesson that's in your account. Okay, so go to your library, your folder, to your classes. But nonetheless, they love to hear you talk about the essential oils, just because as we've spoken over the last several things we've done together, one of the things you bring up is the fact that sometimes people are skeptical about using essential oils. So I definitely wanted you to, so one, yes, using essential oils can support chakra development. Yes, in every chakra. Okay. Now, when it comes to using essential oil, it's not just like using just any old oil. We're talking about essential oils, which means it's a different type of oil. It's a different concentration to it. It's things you must know about them. So what I would love for you to talk about a little bit is like getting started. What are some of the essential oil 101s you need to know? Like, what do you need to know when it comes to utilizing essential oils?
Okay, beautiful. So the first thing that you need to know about essential oils is how to use them safely. Because I think oftentimes people just think, oh, it's just essential oil. Oh, it's really
oil.
gentle. It's gentle yet powerful, and it must be treated with respect. Why? Because they're different oils depending on where they come from the plant. They can burn you. That one little drop can go on your body and burn you. If you use them internally, they can burn you and hurt you. So first things first, we want to make sure that we're safe with the oils that we are using. All right. So that's number one. Number two, we want to know the different ways we can use essential oils. There are 3 ways that we can use it. We can use them topically, we can use them on top of the body. And the way we do that safely is by using a carrier oil, something that is going to dilute the effects of the oil on the body. So, like, just imagine if you got a burn, right? It's just on the skin versus, man, you put some cool water in the boiling water and now it's warm. So if it
Right.
hits the skin, it's diluted. It's not gonna affect that area as deeply as if it was just that splash of hot water on the skin.
Mhm.
Hope that
Mhm.
was a good example.
It was an excellent example because I learned that I love clary sage, and after I use a salt stick for deodorant, so after I would put the salt stick or use the salt stick, I would take clary sage, not knowing how strong it was,
Yeah.
and I would put a little drop. I would usually have some kind of oil on my hand from lotion on my body because this is right after the shower. But so I would put a drop on my hand and kind of do like this and just kind of like wiping under my arm so that it can give off some nice smell. Well, after a while, I
Yeah.
started to realize like, what's my underarm feel like this? And my
Yes.
hand that I would usually drop it on, why does it feel sensitive? And it occurred to me, that's that clary sage that I use. It's strong and it's burning. It's
It's burning.
subtly burning my skin. Yeah.
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 So we need to consider just diluting our oils when we're using it, applying it onto the skin.
Mhm.
And ways that you can do that is by adding in a oil like, a coconut
Yeah.
oil or
I
a
use coconut.
almond oil or a grapeseed oil, something like that. The other way that you can use it is aromatherapy. You can diffuse it in your home. A nice diffuser, you add water to that, and then maybe 3 or 4 drops, and now you're inhaling. You're essentially getting those essential oils through the olfactory. You're inhaling the oils, you're cleansing the air, your environment, right? You might have it in your dryer sheets, you might have it in a spray bottle. All of these are aromatherapy ways of experiencing the oils. And then, of course, there's the internal way, my favorite way all the time, and that is including it in the food, which is a natural dilution process as well. Because if I put my essential oil in water or a beverage or in a stew, I'm naturally diluting the essential oil because it's very, very, very potent in that if you were just to taste some of these oils, they may taste very bitter, just a drop of it. But by diluting the flavors of it, you're still getting that beautiful flavor, but you're not getting like bitterness or you're not getting it's too spicy. So
Right.
we really want to understand how to properly use our oils when we're using it. All
Mhm.
right. So that's the second thing. So being safe, how do you use it? Um, Also where the oils come from. I think that's an important thing for people to know.
Very important.
So I want y'all to understand that like your essential oils, just like a gemstone, like they're gifts, y'all. These are gifts from the earth. These are gifts from plants to us. Plants are so like life-giving to us. And anytime you eat a plant, y'all just say thank you. Thank you for being a blessing in my body because that plant is nourishing you on so many levels that you don't even think about. Many of the medications that we have on the market today, the source of them were plants. They're mimicking plants.
Yes.
They're plant derivatives. All right. And so when you think about an essential oil now, the essential oil is that chemical constituent that's coming from the plant that makes the plant be a superpower for itself.
Mhm.
So if you are a plant that lives in a very harsh climate, you have certain chemical constituents in you that allows you to survive that environment. If you are a plant that has chemical constituents that can help you to repel certain bugs, then that is one of your superpowers as a plant. And so we are able to get those, grab those, harvest those chemical constituents because they exist in certain parts of the plant and harvest them and use them to support us, to support us.
Mhm.
So that might mean you using a oil like if you're outside to repel bugs from you, lemongrass, or another one is peppermint is actually really good for that. geranium, right? There are these different concoctions that you can create to repel bugs from you when you're outside. You have various plants that you can take internally to help you with digestive issues. Things like ginger, things like star anise, things like what's another one? Cinnamon,
Mhm.
peppermint again, right? Some of these have a lot of dual, like the
Is that what they call it? Clove or
cardamom. That's another amazing one. Cardamom, black pepper, pink pepper. A lot of
yeah.
these are digestive essential oils, right? And so, understanding where the plant, like the essential oil comes from in the plant is also very helpful so that you have a deeper understanding of how that can help you. Again, going back to one of our earlier conversations on this live, everyone should be thinking about, what do I need in my healing process? What am I working on? What is my life's work? I talk very much extensively about hypertension. That is my
Mm,
life's work, to be able to address that. It is something that runs deep on both sides of my family. And
same.
for me, it doesn't show up in food. It does not show up in food. It shows up in how I'm processing life and managing stress, right? So be mindful about that. How is your dis-ease showing up for you in your life? So we could do all the research, and yes, on average, it does this to people, but what is it doing for you? And what do you need to employ in your life
Hmm.
to tackle it? And so the foods that you're eating, the mantras you should be having, the
Yes,
movements you should
yes.
be doing, the meditations you should be doing for that particular dis-ease in you,
Specifically.
it has to be very specific to you,
Hmm.
to you. And
Hmm.
that's what makes you your own doctor. We're
Hmm.
not saying not to go out there and get the support from other people, but that is why we got to interrogate us. You got to
Yes,
you got to be so into you
into
and what
you.
you're feeling, what
Hmm.
you're eating, how's that making you feel? How's it presenting in your body? All of these things. It's such important work. It's full-time work.
As we was talking about it last couple of days, I mean, a couple of days ago. I mean, it is a
It's a
full-time job.
full-time job.
But
Yeah,
here's
it's
the
a
thing, Chef
full-time
B, I
job.
wanted to mention too, for those who may be tuned in who don't know, there are tools to help you to get you to know you, right? Like you
Mm,
can get things like, people sometimes get into the past life regression
mm,
readings. You
mm,
can get your natal chart. The natal
mm,
chart is
mm,
the one I gravitate to. It's simple, it's mathematics. You plug in the numbers, you get what your chart is basically, essentially. And a part of that chart, on that chart, you have your Chiron, Chiron, your Chiron. Your Chiron is going to, your Chiron in the north. Here's the three things on your natal chart that will very much so help you in the way that Chef B literally just mentioned. Well, you got to get to know specifically you. What are the things you can see what's going on in your bloodline? Your aunties dealt with heart disease, your mama, your this, your that, but you may not even be as introspective as Chef B is talking to see. Well, you know what? It's really how we process things. And that is what's being inherited here, or that's
yeah,
what's been called down.
yeah.
You may not be that intuitive to know that. You may be, but in your natal chart, it says it.
Mm,
You see it. It'll show up in your natal chart. And so I have done that service for a few years now. It's been very helpful. That natal chart unpacking session is what I called it, where you're unpacking your natal chart, i.e., birth chart, to get to understand, how do I take this information to support my personal work?
yes,
Because on your journey, all of us are called to do personal work. It's a part of all of our journey. It's not
yes.
because you're a bad person or you messed up. Well, I ain't messed up like that. I don't have to be. Everyone needs to be doing personal work because you're getting to know yourself. And as you get to know yourself, you also learn what it is that you need to do to help cultivate the self, to your highest self. But nonetheless, the 3 planets in your birth chart, just a little hint to those who, if you're not really into astrology or you don't know much about it, there's a website that I like. I don't get paid by this website. I've just been using it for years, called astrograph.com. It's free. You get your username and password, you put in your numbers, they give you your entire chart. Astrograph.com. Okay. They also they also have an app, but it's different on, Android and iPhone and different things like that. So the standard one is astrograph.com, and the app is called Time Passages. All one word. Time Passages, on iPhone and Android. And so you can have it on the go. You can tune into your chart on the go. But once you get your chart, you go to astrograph.com or whatever you want to go to, but that's the one I like to use. You put your name, your birth date, the time you were born. It is important because the planets move, things shift. So in 2 hours, it's a little different. It's not going to be totally different, but something may be different. Your ascendant may be different. Your rising or something may be different. So the time is good. And if you need to know your time, FYI, it's usually on your birth certificate. But sometimes
not always, Yenn. I'm from a different country.
Right. So that's why I said that. It's usually on your birth certificate, but sometimes it's not. Depending on where you're from and what age, what year you were born. Because in some year, my mom's birthday, they had the whole day wrong. Her mother had to tell her, no, you wasn't born on August the 13th. It was actually the 12th, but they put on there the wrong date on there, which is quite significant.
Yes.
Anyway, you put all of that in, it's going to give you your chart. You go and check out your Chiron, North Node, and Moon. Your Chiron, your North Node, and your Moon. Why? Chiron is your point of healing. How I tell people, it's like, I'm one that grew up in the church and dealing with the Bible. So I think about it from Bible perspective a lot of times. I think about a Moses or a Noah. People know those commonly. Noah's Ark. You got Moses, who led the people out of Egypt. You got, Jacob with Jacob's ladder. All of these people had a healing point that created their living word. So Moses's story, his life, tells a story that is fruitful for other people because there was a healing point there that he had to keep battling in the story. All the stories in the Bible are usually talking about this battle that we have. We all have it. There's this tussle, this resistance that we all have to kind of identify, notice, and then cultivate ourselves so we can grow in it. But it becomes a part of our light. It becomes a part of our living word. It becomes a part of our story. Everyone has that healing point, and in the natal chart, it show up as the Chiron. And it's going to say, throughout life, you have had to deal with, let's just say, insecurity, and you have to be careful about getting really passionate and into things to feel it'll go into all of those things, and you're going to be like, whoa. But if you focus on that point of healing and work on it, it's going to impact your whole life. And then the North Node shows you your, what we call it, the destiny planet, the things that are part of like your destiny, things you're meant to accomplish, things you're meant to do. And then your Moon is truly who you really are. I say all the time, Chef B, we ask people their sign, most likely they're going to tell us their sun sign.
Yes.
I say you need to ask people their moon sign, because sun sign is just kind of how you showing up in this world, like your personality. Your moon sign is your soul. It's the innermost being of you. It's who you really are.
It's love who
that. You really are. And you just show up. So I'm a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo too, boo.
Moon, in and through.
13 times. Look, big up to our homie, the Raw Goddess. 13 times astrology, right?
Yes.
And I found out that I'm Scorpio. That's the sun.
In the 13 sign astrology.
But in my
12
moon.
sign,
He's like, you are a Virgo. You are a healer.
all the way through and
Hey,
through.
you
So
are too.
that
You are
for
too.
me, right, correct. In the 13th sign and 12 sign, I am Virgo through and through. And I show up as this Virgo in a Cancer frequency.
Oh,
That's my
wow.
sun sign. That's my sun sign.
Okay.
So when people ask me in the 12 sign astrology, what is your sign? If most people will think, I'll say Cancer. I'm a Cancer.
Right.
That's my sun sign. So actually, I'm not really a Cancer. That's how I show up.
Right.
I'm really a Virgo through
Right.
and through.
Yep.
How I think, how I feel instinctually gives Virgo energy.
Yep.
All of that. So getting to understand who you are. So if I know I have Virgo energy, right, which could come off, a little perfectionism, very obsessive, plan, kind of rigid. That's on the lower end of the pole. On the higher end, organized, very excellent to work with in business. Very, is a calculated risk taker. So you will want this person on your team because they're not just out here willy nilly in it. So
Mhm.
it's a higher end. But what that tells
Right.
me is there's certain things I will need to work on. There's
Yeah.
certain things that I need to do to stay balanced because I know this about myself, and I also know what my Chiron got going on. I know that about myself. I know what my North Node got going on. I know that about myself. And so when you know about what you have going on, now you add in, there are some essential oils that's good for me as the moon
Yeah.
and Virgo, Chiron and whatever. There's some essential oils that's good for me. There are gemstones that are good for me. There are
Yep.
foods that I probably should be more so
Yep.
eating and ingesting. And in other countries and cultures, that's known. It's
Yep.
not something that's foreign. It's like you're gonna get your chart, you're gonna get a divination, you're gonna get a read. Like it's gonna be, you're gonna get these things in your development stages throughout life
Mhm.
culturally because you are your own universe. It's you
Yes.
have
I
your own.
love that. Yes, girl. No. Okay. Whew. All right. So let's go on back. Let's go back.
Okay, we bring it back.
We got real back in, girl.
Okay, really in. All right, my bad.
So we were talking about the essential oils,
Yes.
and what I would say, because girl, we almost at 2 hours. Like this
I
is,
see, and you now. This is what I do now.
I
I
know, I
apologize
know.
about me talk. I'm a talker. I tell people all the time. They
I'm a
come into
talker
the garden.
too,
They be
girl.
like, I be talking to them for like an hour. I said, now let me pause right now. I'm a talker and I'm unapologetic about it. So feel free to tip on.
No, we
Tip
good.
on
We good. So I just wanted to say, since we're talking root chakra, y'all, and we're talking about these essential oils, some of the oils that you would use would be something like a vetiver, which is a
that.
tree oil. So again, think about what we were saying earlier about plant-based foods. It's not necessarily the color, but it's the source of that food. And the source of that food is deep within the earth. Things that are beets, carrots, potatoes, they're grown within the earth. You have to dig them up. They're in the dirt. They're grounding foods. Some of these grounding oils, just two of them, I'll give you vetiver and cedarwood. All right. So
I
tree
love both.
oils.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're working to do the grounding that we were saying, or the meditation where you're sitting in some of these poses, apply them to the bottoms of the feet, apply
Mm,
them to the palms of the hand. If
mm,
you're sensitive, if your skin is sensitive, make sure that when you drop one drop, that's all you need. With that oil, you want to also add in that carrier oil. And as you say your mantra, you're inhaling that essential oil. I am. I'm safe. I'm abundant. I live. And you're inhaling those oils. You put them on the bottom of your feet if you go outside. All right. You might even put on one of those. They have like grounding shoes now. So you talked about all these big fancy things. Shoot, we could go and they look like socks,
stop.
y'all. But
Yes.
you can walk outside with these things. I think Erica Badu, she wears a version of this because she doesn't like to wear shoes.
Yeah.
So you can apply the oils to your feet, and then you put on those grounding socks or your if you're walking outside, something like that, right?
Yes.
And say your mantra, be intentional about that. Now, I wanted to ask you about the gemstone. Would you use the gemstones in the same way that I'm suggesting that they use the essential oils?
Absolutely.
Both of them?
Hold it in your left hand, the receiving hand, while you're doing your mantras, prayers, affirmations, whatever it is in association with those with the chakra that you're working on. While you're journaling, doing the journaling prompts, have it near you. Some gemstones can be used as elixirs, some cannot. So you do have to
Mm-hmm.
do your research on it, but you can easily put in your browser gemstones that I can use for elixirs for root chakra. And it's really the ones that don't that are not the dissolvable ones, you know,
Yeah.
because some of them dissolve and you don't want to get that in your system. Um, but yes, I would absolutely say the same way. The only thing I would say with gemstones is, you know, just like oils, get to learn them, get to learn how
Yes.
to work with them because they are energies. It's energy. And so some of them, if you have them in your bedroom, you know, it's a science to it where you can't just store them just anywhere. If you have them in your
Mm,
bedroom, it may disrupt your sleep. You may want to put the gemstones in another room or have those very highly amplified gemstones in another room. Some people like to sleep with their gemstones. I say sometimes it's called for, like maybe you're doing some subconscious programming work. And so some gemstones support that. It helps that, like the jaspers that work with the mind, or the amethyst, or
mm.
these types of the lapis lazuli, the labradorite. These are like really good stones to work with when you're working on reprogramming work, because it opens up the first eye. However, if you know you need rest, you have to be careful, because you're gonna have all these lucid dreams and downloads and all these things while you sleep. You be tired for like 3 weeks straight because you don't know what's going on. It's because you have that labradorite underneath your pillow. You're gonna have to give it a break so you can get a little break yourself. But sometimes you need that. Sometimes, as I know, as a coach and counselor myself, that's sometimes your homework. Listen, I need you to tune into your dreams, because you're gonna have to get some.
Yeah.
We got to get into you, and your dreams is one of the main portals that I can get into. So it'll be assigned to you. But yes, gemstones can be used in various different ways. Do your research before you use them. And then also where you purchase your gemstones for, as you were saying, like the kind of oil that you get, the essential oils that you get is important. The quality of it is important. Same way with gemstones, you know, if you find a shop like here at Oyun Marketplace, it's only raw gemstones. I don't sell tumbled gemstones. I
Mm-hmm.
chose to do that when I very first started offering gemstones as a product in the store, because I had realized the benefit of raw eating and raw
Mm-hmm.
foods. And in my mind, I said, well, then it seems that working with raw gemstones may be a little bit more beneficial than tumbled ones, which oftentimes
Mm.
have a gloss on it or a seal on it.
Oh, I
And
see.
yeah, so because they see in the common market, these tumbled gemstones are considered home decor. And so for home decor, they're usually going to have some kind of gloss or some kind of to make it shiny. You know, that's what it is. Because tumbled raw don't look super glossy unless it's like a shiny stone. It's
Right.
just smooth. It's just smoothed out. It's not glossy. That gloss that you get in those tumbled stones come from a sealant. So if I have an amethyst that's raw and then I have one that's sealed, which one in your mind has going to give you more energy? And so
Yeah.
just being, you know, conscious about that. And also when you're going into these stores, what practices do they have also of cleansing and charging their stones, or of people being able to handle them? I wouldn't suggest that you go into a store that's really big and there's no way that they clean them. Or maybe they do, but I'm just saying a lot of times they are not cleaning the stones. And a lot of times they are just kind of out to be handled and different things. We're talking about energy conductors, things that carry energy. So you want to either go to a store that you know has some levels of practices around cleansing and charging the stones, or when you go and purchase these stones, take some smudge with you, or let
I
them put
see
it in the
that.
bag. Look, take some smudge, or you don't have to do smudge where you like, hold on. It can be little bitty oil. You can take that clary sage essential oil, drop it on that
Put it on
gemstone.
there.
Take,
Hmm.
yeah, you can take it, and that's cleansing, or you can make your own little spray. So before you handle them, you cleanse them, so that you're not handling other people's energy or just different energy like that. So it's different things about gemstones. I used to teach gemstone classes, working with
We
gemstones
know, long time ago.
time ago, but it's so powerful. When I started working with gemstones, it took and essential oils and herbs, like all of these things took it in
Together.
association with like moon cycle, and I took life to a whole another level. Yeah,
Now, I'll say this too. For those of you who are listening that aren't sure which one is for you, which gemstone is for you, which essential oil is for you, it's a process, right? So I just named a couple of essential oils that might work, but there are more that are grounding, right? There's a ton more that are grounding. And so it's just like with your gemstones, you have to really start getting in tuned so that you can see what feels good and what doesn't feel good. So the gemstone that keeps you up at night, even though it's good for grounding, is probably not the gemstone for you. You know what I'm saying?
precisely.
Or even an essential oil that you might ingest that doesn't make you feel good after you ingest it is probably not the essential
The
oil
one for
for
you.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a reading. You talk about a reading that you do. There's one that I do. It's an emotions and essential oil reading that we do using a galvanic skin response technology,
Nice,
and it essentially just reads your energy.
nice,
So the person would sit their hand on a cradle, and literally for like maybe 5 minutes, it's just reading the energy of the body. And
nice.
it's telling you where you're imbalanced and where you're out of balance. And then it pulls up for me various essential oils that might be recommendations for you. And in doing so, it breaks down. I have some tools that I use where I look at the emotional significance of that essential oil, and it'll tell me potentially, well, why that I'm looking for root causes, right, y'all? Why did this essential oil come up for this person? And as we have conversations, and we're looking at why this oil is important for this particular emotion, that person might say, wow, I have a problem speaking up, because they recommended a spearmint essential oil because that's actually an oil for speaking, right? Being able to activate that throat chakra. So there are tools that you can use so that you can figure out which essential oil is exactly for you. And even in that, even though it's a recommendation, ultimately you have to try it on, and then you see how it feels. You might not like the smell of the essential oil. It might throw you off completely. So then we need to find something else that works for you. All you need is a go-to to help you feel grounded, to
I
help
love
you
that.
feel rooted. That's all you need is one.
It's simple. One, don't go,
Just
because
one.
sometimes we can get to exploring and it's like, just find something
One.
that's good and be consistent with that. And then, when spirit leads, so when you
Yes.
start trying different ones, but get educated, grow in knowledge. It's for the lack of knowledge that we perish oftentimes. So growing your knowledge. If you're gonna use essential oils, get to know about them, learn about it, study it,
Yep.
pull up some stuff, get a consultation with Chef B to do something to learn how
Mhm.
to do it first before you just jump in there. And I really like to emphasize that because social media, YouTube, Google, all of that has become like where people get their source of information, like almost solely. And so, I'm from the education world, so I'm like, listen, y'all, research is more than just Googling. Like
Yes.
you
Let's
do,
read.
you gotta get
Let's
go,
read.
yeah, go read. And you can get audio books. Thank
Get
God
some
for you.
audio books. Let's go.
Book, learn about it in different things. Yeah,
All right, so yeah, girl, we about to wrap this up.
I
Okay,
see it.
before we wrap up, because we almost at the second top of the hour,
Yes,
not
ma'am.
the first top, the second top of the hour. We want to talk to these beautiful people about the 7 experience that we will be doing together
Yes,
on December 22nd. So y'all, we
yes.
said stay to the end because we have this beautiful offer for you. If you guys want to really get into the chakras, if you want to get into these essential oils, if you want to get into this great plant-based food, booze, then you need to know about the 7 experience that's coming up that Yenn is hosting. So tell them a little bit about that, Yenn.
Yes, super excited. 7 is a dining experience that was birthed a few years back. I can't even remember how long ago. Around this same time, I did one of the first ones with my sister Tina, who was a chef, who is a chef, but is now living on Sapelo Island. Giving shout out to
Yeah.
Tina, because she does a lot of different things on Sapelo Island. If you never visited, absolutely learn about Sapelo Island and definitely take a visit there. It's an amazing energy on that island. But anywho, so what the idea was is let's use food to nourish the chakras and let's do it around new moon and full moons. And so we would take one chakra and kind of focus on it doing specific moves. And then we did this one event where we did all 7 of them.
Yes.
And when we did that event, it was amazing. Like, it was a great feedback. Everyone just was like, man, I've never experienced anything like that before. And what they were saying, what they were talking about was this experience with a dining experience where your energy feels open when you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes you go and have a dining experience, you feel like, you feel kind of sluggish if you're not having
Tired. Oh,
you got the
roll
ice.
me out of there, girl. Roll me out
Right.
of there.
No, this one you feel full, but you ever felt that full where it felt like feel good?
The
You feel
full,
full, you feel
full of
nourished,
energy, good,
full of energy,
nourished,
you feel
light.
nourished. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what they was experiencing. This is why Chef B and I are partnering to do this 7 dining experience in December. The reason why they were feeling that way because each dish that they ate, it was a 7-course dining experience. Each dish was focused on each chakra, one of
Yep.
the chakras. The beautiful thing about this one that's upcoming is not only will the dishes be themed with the chakras, but also infused with essential oils. I am excited about that. Like, that is amazing. Like, to have a chakra themed meal. It's infused with essential oil. And then also during the dining experience, I have a modern medicine woman. Her name is Timaka. She's out of Savannah who does sound healing work. So
Oh,
throughout, she's going to be doing sound healing treatments to the people. Now, you just chilling, eating
yes.
your food, vibing out, and sound healing is happening while you just chilling.
So
You
you
don't
know
have
you have people traveling, girl. You know people gonna be traveling.
yeah, we already got a few that
Like
signed up
just
that's
oh,
absolutely
what?
traveling.
That's not what
Oh,
I'm
you
talking
mean
about.
there?
I'm
Okay.
talking, I'm talking about there. They're gonna be traveling, girl. They're gonna be all over the place in their mind. They're gonna be knocked out,
Listen,
girl.
and it also at the event, so you got the food, 7 courses, essential oil infused, chakra theme. You have the sound therapy happening, the sound treatments, using instruments and her voice. She's a award-winning vocal artist and visual artist. And
Wow,
she's a farmer. She used to be a runway model. That was her first career. And she
wow.
moved into this space after Spirit led her on this journey of doing this type of work full time, working energy work. She's a Reiki practitioner. She does energy work, but she do it through her voice and through instruments, and then also through infusing Reiki practices in her practice. And you can find her, you just put in her name, Timaka, and you will see, she's been invited to TED Talks and different things to do this healing work using drums and instruments and those type of things. She's going to be our featured artist that night. So not only are you having Chef B, who's blessing you with this food that's themed with the chakras and also infused with essential oils, you have Timaka who's coming in. She's considered a modern day medicine woman using the medicine of sound and voice and Reiki. And then you're going to leave with the gift bag from Oyun Marketplace where
Mm,
you can maintain this frequency.
mm,
All
ah,
that in one
all
event.
that. I love
And
it.
this is happening at Oyun Marketplace. which has the headquarters of a 2-acre beautiful botanical garden. So at any point in time, you can feel bold enough. It'll be December 22nd, so a little chilly for Atlanta. However, by all means, you can feel bold enough to go on outside and experience some of nature in that vibration.
Mm-hmm.
You can just go out, bundle up if you need to. We'll start a bonfire. I already got somebody on deck who can start a bonfire if the vibe reaches there. And it's gonna be a very fluid vibe, very chill vibe, like-minded individuals, eating good food, addressing the chakras without feeling like you got to put so much effort into it. Just be there in the experience and you leave with these chakras stimulated like that. So 7, a chakra opening,
Look, you
dining
ain't tell them this part. This is also important.
Okay, please.
The winter solstice
Oh,
begins on
yes. Yes.
December
Thank you.
21st,
Thank you for
and
reminding me.
it's the next day. So you're
Thank you for
still
reminding me
within
of
the
that.
energy of the winter solstice.
Yes.
Okay? Which
Thank
is
you for
the
reminding me of that.
perfect
'Cause I keep
time.
forgetting to mention
Like,
that.
that's
Yes.
so important, right, Yenn?
Huge. It's huge. Like I didn't even when we planned it, I didn't even like it didn't even occur to me. Like, okay, that's and I'm like, look at this. This is at the same time of the winter solstice energy.
Solstice, y'all.
That is gigantic. Like you doing that type of thing and it's on a Sunday. Sunday is a significant energy. You know, during the hours that we're doing it, all of it it
Very
really
intentional.
linked up in such a way that is so divine. So I know it's meant to happen. I know whoever signed up for this dining experience, you're supposed to be there. The people who come together are supposed to meet each other. The things that you're going to hear, the things that you're going to experience, the downloads you're going to have, it's meant for you to experience those things. So if this sounds that even a little bit interesting to you, you may want to go ahead and register for it. It's a limited space. We have a small intimate space here at Oyun. And so we invite small intimate groups to do these amazing events. So it is limited space. It will always be limited space in these, but we like it that way. We like intimate settings and doing these things. And so go ahead and register. You don't want to miss out on it. It's a one-of-a-kind experience. Winter solstice don't come around all the time. You know, you got to wait a whole year. And just being centered around the specific energy. And I think it's profound because we are in astrologically, we're in a unique position right now in December, in the month of December, going into 2025. So what you're vibing on during that period, with a few retrogrades happening, including Mercury retrograde, but there's other Mars is retrograde. There's a few other things that's retrograding right now, and some things are moving direct. It's a lot happening right now that's very transformative. And so where you are vibrationally, what you have your mind on and what you're doing, absolutely is going to impact what you're going to be experiencing in the next 6, 7, 8 months. And so if you are doing this type of work during this powerful dynamic energy, you're planting seeds that are really in alignment with quantum leap type energy. So it's like planting a seed and things that you would think takes forever to nourish. No, it's like things are happening like this. And so this dining experience is not just something that's enjoyable to just the palate and the heart and the spirit, but it's also literally in divine order. Like literally it's in divine order for you to be doing something like this in this time.
So I dropped the link to 7 for those people who are looking on YouTube. It's there, the date. And the other thing I want to say to you all is intention is everything. Both myself and Yenn are going to be, I mean, even the sound healer, very intentional. You want people who are doing things for you in your healing process to be intentional.
That's big.
I'm going to be praying over the food for you. I'm going to be praying for you as you take in those different courses and whatever transformation you're hoping to achieve within the next 6 to 8 months. I'm praying and hoping and wishing for you to have that.
That's right.
You want to ensure that whoever's making your food, whoever's doing healing work with you, they love you and they have you in mind, and then they're also doing their work as well.
Right? That's big.
Very, very important. So
Yeah.
this is a team effort. This isn't just about you showing up, but
Mhm.
it's about the energy and all the things that we're working to create for you
That's
to
right.
be there, you know?
That's right.
Yeah. So
Yes.
some of these folks on here, they know who you are, but in case they don't, could you please tell them where to find you on YouTube?
Absolutely. You can find me if you put Queen Yenn, Yenn. My full name is Yeninga, y'all, but most people call me Yenn or Queen Yenn. But if you put that in your browser, you'll see all of my platforms pop up. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So you can find me on YouTube. Queen Yenn is the channel. On Instagram, it's a few of them. It's Queen Yenn, Queen_Yenn. And Instagram is also Oyun Botanical Gardens. That's the gardens page. OYUN is the name of the ministry. Oyun. Oyun Ministries is another page. Those are separate purposefully, because those who are vibing with the garden, I let them vibe there. OU Ministries vibers are different vibe. You gotta, it's for
We
who
know.
it's for. You know what I mean? So OU Ministries is the Instagram page. But again, if you put it in the browser, it'll pop up, including the websites, ounbotanical.com and ounministries.com. OU Ministries is where you're going to find out more about the metaphysical studies, the healing services, the coaching, the counseling, the wide range of coaching and counseling. And then on the garden page is where you will find out when you can get fresh produce, when you can volunteer, field trips, garden tours, garden 101 classes that we have coming up. All the good garden stuff is what you find on both sites. So it's beneficial to go to both.
Yes.
And it's beneficial to join the newsletter to both because it is different. I send out a specific newsletter for those who are interested in the garden work, and I send out a specific one for the ministry. A lot of people end up joining both of them, but it is a benefit. They're not the same exact newsletter, so it is a benefit to do it. So yes, that's where you can find me. Type in Queen Yenn, everything come up.
I love it. I love it. All right. So we have that. Y'all know where to find me, Chef B. I am Chef B. I even have the handle here on the screen. That's across all platforms. The website is chefb.com. And then for those of you who are new here, we have in our description section a place where you can grab a guide. We do have our palette reset that's coming up in the new year, and we talked extensively about that. You can actually look at the video that we put on YouTube 2 nights ago, because Yenn and I were together 2 nights ago, where we were talking about palette reset and detoxing. However, if that is out of your reach, you guys can grab the guide. The guide is just an e-guide that tells you how to do a simple plant-based detox cleanse 10 days. It gives you recipes for 10 days. It tells you what foods to avoid. It tells you what foods to include. So you can go on our description below this right here, this video, and you can grab the guide. All right. And you guys can also sign up for 7 so that you can come and hang out with us on December
Hang
22nd.
out. Yes. And stay tuned to us. We got a lot brewing. I'm very excited about the work we're doing in the new year. So stay tuned to everything that's happening.
Yeah,
Shout out
we
to those who
excited.
tuned in that are representing from OU Ministries,
Yes.
the gardens, and shout out to Chef Beast
Our
people
crew.
them, your tribe as well. Give thanks.
Crew. Yeah, the Healing Me First with Chef B crew. We also have that community. So if you want to pop in there for lifestyle tips, plant-based support, virtual cooking classes, it's absolutely free. You can come on over there. Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, look, we're at 208, girl.
Hey, listen, my white flag is
This
up.
is
My white
beautiful. It's been amazing.
Thank you so
We
much, Chef B. I really
thank you
appreciate it.
all for just coming on and hanging out with us. We had some troopers on here the whole time.
Nice.
So much for just chiming in, listening, supporting. Please share this YouTube video with folks who you think might be interested in this content. Please subscribe to both of our channels. If living a plant-based lifestyle, living fully, spiritually, having the right mindset, if all of those things are critical to you at this time,
Yes.
subscribe to both of our channels. You will be seeing us together more. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you, Yenn.
Yeah. I'm excited. To more of these. Y'all
For
enjoy
more
the rest
of these.
of your
Yes.
Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And thank you for tuning in. I appreciate love you. Thank you, Chef B. I look forward to our next one.
Yes, darling.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.